Today we're diving into an idea that's, well, it's a little unsettling at first, but it might just be the most liberating thing you ever hear. We're talking about the day you realize no one really cares. So let's just start with a gut punch, shall we? Stop everything right now because someone you know just forgot about you. Oof, yeah, that stings a little, doesn't it? And you know what? It's supposed to. Because that feeling, that little sting, it leads us straight into our first big idea, the uncomfortable truth. And let's be real, this isn't some high-minded philosophy. It's that feeling, that sinking in your stomach, when you're staring at your phone, waiting for a text that you slowly, painfully realize is never going to come. You're just waiting for someone, anyone, to check in, and all you hear is silence. The proof is all around us, in these tiny, everyday moments. Like when your friend completely forgets your birthday, or when your family asks you these same questions every single week, almost like they hit a reset button on your last conversation. Your boss, they mostly just care if your work is done. And maybe the worst one, you pour your heart out in a long message and you get back a K, or nothing at all. These are the little daily receipts of that uncomfortable truth. So if that's the reality we're living in, what on earth are we all doing? Well, that brings us to this idea of performing for ghosts. Think of it this way. You've been walking around your whole life carrying these invisible chains made from worrying what people think. It's such a powerful image, right? This massive invisible weight that we're all just dragging around day after day. We spend so much time, so much of our precious energy performing for this huge audience. But here's the twist. The audience, they packed up and left the theater a long, long time ago. And here it is, the final reveal. The part that changes everything. They were never actually watching you to begin with. Why? Because everyone is far too busy being the star of their own movie. It's been called the circus. Just picture it. A massive circus tent where every single person is an act. Everyone is desperately juggling, trying to keep all their balls in the air, putting on a show. But here's the thing. There's nobody in the audience. Not a soul. Everyone's up on stage, so focused on their own act, they don't even notice yours. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds incredibly depressing, right? Super dark, maybe even a little hopeless. But hang on, because this is the pivot. This is where everything turns on its head. Because this isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. Welcome to the liberating realization. See, here's the massive shift in how we see things. The myth we've been sold is that their judgment is what defines us. But the reality? The thing that actually sets us free? It's their indifference. It's not a personal attack. It's just the way things are. And that indifference gives you all of your power back. And that leads us to the absolute core of this whole thing. This isn't bad news. This is the key that unlocks your entire life. The second you stop waiting for a round of applause from an empty theater, that's the exact moment you get to be truly, totally free. So what does that freedom actually look like? What do you do with it? Well, now we get to the fun part. Your life, your rules. When you really let this sink in, some pretty radical things start to happen. 1, you just stop asking for permission to be you. 2, you start making decisions like lightning fast. 3, you take way bigger risks because, honestly, who are you trying to impress? 4, your mistakes, they suddenly don't feel so world-ending. And 5, and this is the best one, your wins, the things you do for yourself, suddenly matter so much more. So what's the outcome of all this? 100%. That's how much of your life now actually belongs to you, not to what your parents wanted, not to what your friends think, not to what society expects. All of it. It's yours. It's like this. It is time to grab the steering wheel of your own car. And for goodness sake, stop checking the rearview mirror for people who aren't even on the same highway as you. But what about that little voice that says, this is selfish, that focusing on yourself is mean? Well, here's the counterpoint. Caring about yourself isn't selfish or mean. It's pure survival. Because if you're not steering your life and nobody else is paying attention, that car is headed for a crash. Which brings us to one last really important question. The final section, what will you build? You're basically standing at a fork in the road. You can be the old you, the one who waited for permission, who needed that constant applause, who always played it safe and hid behind a mask. Or You can be the new you, the person who just starts building, the one who finds their own approval, who lives authentically, and who finally shows their real face to the world. So, what's the path forward? It's action. You want to start that project you can't stop thinking about? Start it today. You want to get out of that job that's draining your soul? Make the plan now. You want to finally say what you actually think? Open your mouth and say it. The worst that can happen is they forget about it by tomorrow morning. And that's what we're left with. This is the one question that really matters. Who will you become when that imaginary audience finally disappears for good? What could you possibly create or do or be when you stop performing for ghosts? And that, right there, that's not a question for me to answer. That's for you to go out and live.